you know, an India that is kind of like in a slightly dark space right now. And I think the youth is losing. We can discuss why, but the youth is losing some of that aspiration. It's like it will happen one day is becoming, it will not happen for you. This is something people need to realize in my country, and they're not realizing. They think they're helping Hinduism. Who is not going to get jobs? Hindu kids are not going to get jobs. So why are you putting energy on it? You want to do something for the country, there are 100 causes.
Yeah.
Please fix your career, and there's so many wonderful causes. Keep making a noise on it. So I think people need to be careful now. We need to single-mindedly say this nation is only going to talk about making money and growing this economy. Anybody who interferes in this, and the government is extremely popular because the government is delivering exactly what people want. So the solution will come from changing the people.
Our speaker for this session is one of the few IITians who are popular among the masses. His 5-point someones either ended up in a call center with God or made 3 mistakes that changed their lives. Well, if you haven't guessed it yet, it's best-selling author Chetan Bhagat. His latest release, An Arranged Murder, has been a topic of discussion since it hit the stands. Talking to him about the role of books in the age of distraction, we have senior journalist and author Kaveri Bamzai.
So, hello and welcome to Chetan Bhagat. I think one of the most articulate spokesmen of New India. He's talked about everything from the aspiration for education. He's championed the neo-middle class. He's championed those who are uncomfortable with English but want to learn it. He's championed the empowered woman, the ambitious student from Mufassal India. In a way, he really encapsulates for me what India has become. I don't want to blame him for what India has become.
Oh my God.
But a lot of the good things of what New India is really captured in Chetan Bhagat's books. And I think that is what makes him truly remarkable, very popular, of course, as everyone knows. And I know he carries a chip on his shoulder about literary critics not liking his work, but it really doesn't matter because everyone else does. So, hello and welcome, Chetan. I'm delighted to welcome you here and to talk to you.
Thank you so much, Kaveri. It's been indeed a long time, a long association, and I'm happy that this is happening.
Yes, thank you. So, Chetan, you've been writing in a way for India and for Indians since 2004. And that really was
Yes.
the beginning of the Manmohan Singh era. It was the end of the India shining moment in India's history, but the beginning of a very interesting new era as well, where the common man felt hugely empowered. And there were so many movements, whether it was the India Against Corruption or the Nirbhaya rape case. And in a way, your books sum up all that energy. When you look at India now, even from the distance of Singapore, what do you think?
I think India has changed. I think I belong to that 90s generation, which grew up with the liberalization and the big bang, the closest we had to big bang reforms in 1991. And I think those generated a lot of income for India. Like the per capita incomes from 1990 was $300. Today we are at $2,000. So we had a good 20 to 25-year run of GDP. And today we are in a different place. And there are complicated reasons for it. And I have my theory on it. Different people have different theories. But I think somewhere down the line, a complacency has set in, a pride has come in, and that pride is being like as if we have arrived. We have not arrived. We are still at 2000. Um, and that hunger, not food hunger, that hunger of aspiration of wanting more that my generation had, where like we kind of thought that, at least I did, and many like me did, that anything is possible in India. That is kind of going away a little bit because we are in some tough times. um, and I think the youth is losing. We can discuss why, but the youth is losing some of that aspiration. It's like it will happen one day is becoming, it will not happen for you. And I think that's a scary place to be, because half of these things are self-fulfilling prophecies. If you think the country is doing well, people get more confident, they invest more, there are more jobs, everything. If you think that we are in a bad place, then everybody saves more. consolidates and then it doesn't grow. So we are plateauing to kind of declining on our growth uh, because of those reasons. And I think that it does mean it's a rough patch right now.
Right. And in a way, Chetan, your new book, One Arranged Marriage, represents a lot of this churning through the prism of
Yes.
this dysfunctional Punjabi family, a typical
Yes.
Punjabi family, where, from the outside it's all DDLJ, but inside there's a lot that's going on. There's a murder, which could be a suicide, or it could be a murder, echoes of what's happening with the Sushant Singh Rajput case. There are drugs, there are all sorts of things without giving too much away. And yet there's also the fancy, engagement and the Porsche dealerships and all that. So talk a little about this kind of India that you're showing, and in a way, the characters in it, the young characters in it, embody exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah, and I'm really glad you picked on that. I'm really happy that even though the book is marketed as a murder mystery,
Yeah.
and it is a murder mystery,
Yeah.
it is a whodunit, and you can read it as that. But if you are somebody who kind of likes to observe India, and you will see a mirroring of some of what is happening in our society, whether it's media handling of cases, whether it's the recession, whether it's the kind of a startup ecosystem little bit, but at the same time nefarious things happening. An India that is kind of like in a slightly dark space right now, even though some of the goals are still there. And I think I wanted to capture that in that. Even the family structure, that whole thing, that all is not well inside. So there was a subtext to that. So I'm glad you caught up on it. And yeah, I think we are in a country doesn't just, you can't just take growth for granted. You can't just think that, oh, it's India's time now. Oh, it's a matter of time. Everybody got rich, so we will get rich. Economies that have ruined themselves, like Venezuela or many, many Latin American places, Zimbabwe. I mean, there are places which did not do the work required to grow. And while there are places like China, where India and China had the same per capita GDP in the 80s, and today they are 5 times richer, $2,000, $10,000 per year. That's like somebody making 20,000 rupees and someone making 1 lakh rupees. Now the 20,000 rupee guy can keep on shouting that I'm proud, I have history, I have heritage, all this. But the fact is, he makes 1 lakh and you make 20,000. And that's the cold, bitter truth. We need to make money. You want to call yourself a nationalist? Help India get rich. Nobody respects a poor country, no matter how deep your history is, how wonderful your traditions are, tasty your food is, how beautiful your festivals are. Everybody has beautiful culture. Africa is cradle of such civilization. Africa is where it all started for humanity. But nobody takes Africa as seriously as Europe and US, because they are the frontrunners. They have the money, they have the wealth. So you want clout, you want power, get rich. And we will need to work to that. This 2,000 has to be made 3,000, 4,000, 5,000. But if we say, no, we've got 2,000 now, we are quite big now, we did so much, and now let's have different aspirations. We'll have identity aspirations. We'll teach the Muslims a lesson. We'll teach this guy. It's going to be distracting. Growth requires calmness. Growth requires harmony. Business happens when things are safe and predictable. Otherwise, the businessman or woman pulls the capital back in their drawer, in their safe. This is something people need to realize in my country, and they're not realizing. They think they're helping Hinduism. Who is not going to get jobs? Hindu kids are not going to get jobs. If the Hindu investors are not going to make money, Hindus are not going to see growth. So what are you even saying? You're being counterproductive by these things. So we are in a dark space, and I think people are not addressing it properly.
And exactly what you show in the book as well. It's actually a social commentary on what's happening even in this startup space, which was supposed to be the bright, shining future for us all.
Yeah.
You know exactly how.
This is the book, by the way.
Yes. But you show exactly how you can stretch yourself too much by sort of getting your investors in, and then You show the old brick and mortar business trying to leverage the young startup. There's all sorts of financial shenanigans happening there, which actually do happen currently. Are
They
happening.
have, yeah, because we started celebrating the startup ecosystem of India, but there is a lot of startups which started doing unethical practices or
Yeah,
corporate governance practices, and that is the truth. People just wanted to, oh, India is growing, and just open an Indian internet company, get raise some money, and we are set. No, you're not set. You have to prove, and you have to make a company run, and a lot of people don't, and all kinds of swindling, and that's not good. That's not good if a startup sector acquires a reputation that things are unethical. So I think people need to be careful now. I think, Kaveri, people are in a dark place. People are seeing some bad times ahead. And instead of saying, you know what, we need to work harder, people are trying to find something to blame. People are finding, so like, it could be anybody. It could be Muslims, it could be Bollywood, it could be nepotism, it could be Tabligis, it could be like just
right,
flavor of the month, you know, but not us. Not we are not going to work harder. We are going to troll harder. And
right.
we think it's going to solve the problem, or we want to find shortcuts, and those shortcuts are nefarious, and it none of that works. I'm not saying we can become very rich by a shortcut. It's going to be 10-20 year process. It's going to be 7-8% a year, that's it. But to do that also, we need to single-mindedly say this nation is only going to talk about making money and growing this economy. Anybody who interferes in this, anybody who says, oh, we don't like this ad, we don't like this, are you seeing the damage it is causing to our economy? Are you seeing what's going to happen to 4 other guys who wanted to open showrooms all over India and give Hindu kids jobs?
Yeah,
If I can't appeal to their morality, I can't appeal to the people and say, please be good people and don't hurt others. Please don't be bigoted. Okay, fine, you love being bigoted, but don't, at least act in self-interest. Somebody told me, oh, we did this. We got 2% stock down of Tanishq,
yeah.
Titan,
Who
whatever.
does it
And
help?
they lost firstly, 2% is hardly a daily move. So it didn't.
Yeah,
Apart from the promoters, rest is publicly held. Who are the investors? Hindus. So now you protected Hinduism by making Hindus poorer. So, I mean, people have stopped thinking, and people are reacting emotionally to things, finding shortcuts, going in the wrong direction to fix the problem. And I think part of this is, why is the youth doing this? It's one thing if older people who have a certain value say, why is the youth doing this? It's because of this wretched device called the phone, which is cheap data, very useful for certain things, from Google Maps to shopping to online classes, but extraordinarily dangerous because youth is addicted to it 6-7 hours a day. And if you are addicted to this, you're not watching like, deep mind broadening stuff. You're watching Instagram videos, and did the girl like the picture? Did she? I mean, just talking junk, really. It is making you lose your ability to think. I can't appeal to you rational side of youth anymore, because they don't like to use that part of the brain. If you don't use a part of your brain, it'll get atrophied. You are only reacting emotionally, and which is obvious, because extreme love for a politician or extreme hate for a politician, extreme hate for a celebrity, extreme reactions to an ad, extreme. Everything is like emotional.
yeah.
And the anchors which are winning, the news anchors that are winning, the more emotional, the better.
Absolutely.
Not the most truthful, not the most rational. That's a generation, an entire generation which has stopped thinking.
Yeah.
And if you don't think, you're not going to do well in life, and your country is not going to do well. So I'm sorry to give this message as the most popular, happy writer, but I think, call me a getting old uncle now, but boss, I'm not coming like an uncle. I'm 46, but I work very hard even now. Where is it applies to me too. If I don't work hard, how am I going to do well? If I start trolling people, how am I going to do well?
Yeah.
But when you were born, did your parents say hospital में कि बड़ा होके troll बनेगा? तो वो आज troll बन के रह गए हो. So कब हुआ ये? At what point in your life your dream turned into a negative space? And I feel bad. What's going to happen? 25% GDP contraction. I didn't do it. It's real. You should be looking for a job. You should be working to upgrade your skills. You should be saying, what is this Hindu Muslim nonsense we keep doing? कभी निकलेगा इसका कोई सोल्यूशन? यू थिंक 10 years we'll keep arguing? कोई ठीक है, पास्ट में हिंदूज ने बुरा किया, पास्ट में मुस्लिम्स ने बुरा किया, अभी क्या करें? क्या करें? बैठ के यही डिस्कस करते रहे। इतने पैसे हमारे पास कि हमने सब कुछ अचीव कर लिया कि अब यही करेंगे बैठ के, तो इट्स नॉट गुड।
Chetan, at what point did you also realize this? Because there was a moment, I think, between 2014 to about 2015, 2016, when a whole lot of Indians really believed in a new kind of India that was promised to us, and there was a belief that the old entrenched entitled elite, the dynasties and the family firms, they would disappear, and in its place would be a truly meritocratic society. There was a moment, and you yourself have were quite an admirer of that moment. What happened?
No, that moment did come, and the people, like what they say, people power did happen.
Yeah.
I mean, Narendra Modi is people power.
Yeah.
I mean, there is no doubt. The problem is, how do the people think? The government is not only, it's one thing when the leader is doing something and the government is unpopular.
Yeah.
It's one thing when the leader is extremely popular and the government is extremely popular, because the government is delivering exactly what people want.
Mm-hmm.
So the solution will come from changing the people. The government has realized that Indians don't want to be that aspirational financially anymore. They are okay with bad schools. They are okay with bad hospitals. They're okay with, I'm sorry, but that's clearly the message, because actually even the government last 3-4 weeks have been trying to make some economic announcements. They made the farmers a thing. They did the labor reforms. They've done some LTA. They're trying to get the economy going. But the Tanishq ad is what people were interested in.
Yeah. Or the Sushant Singh Rajput suit.
Yeah, Sushant Singh हो गया, किसने माल फूंक लिया, who had marijuana. I mean, if you are sitting in government, you'll be like, यार public को चाहिए ही नहीं है. हम इतनी मेहनत करके economic policy change कर रहे हैं. We are making these bills and we're going to do. Nobody cares. But say something. They don't even have to say it. Every month we bring out a Hindu-Muslim issue. Organically it comes up. Yeah. Government doesn't have to create it. So I think there is something wrong in that liberal argument that let's blame Modi for everything. That's not the case. They will get another person like that. People. That's what people want. And it takes a very, very extremely rare leader who will go against his own base.
Right.
It's not going to happen. Why would it happen? Why would I go? I mean, this is hard for me when I'm telling you that the youth is doing this. I know that some of the youth is not liking it. They'd rather I talk about love and this. Exactly. I can.
Because they love
or
you.
I can talk emotional. Yeah, and I can talk emotional things and I can talk about this, that. But it's not right for me to just ignore what is going on. So I think it's somewhere we have given the people power, which needed to happen.
Yeah.
Power was kind of like very elites were controlling the narrative. And that is true. But now the people have to learn to handle this power. Yes, you have power. Now you can use this power to bully Tanishq or call 5 more companies like Tanishq to India. It's completely people's choice. We can ruin ourselves. Trust me, it's very easy. You can use your power to ruin yourselves. You can get drunk every night, and I have the power now, right? I can use my day to be healthy and do some work, or I can afford it, so I can start drinking at 7 in the morning and keep drinking till night. Nobody will stop me, but I'll ruin myself. And I think this is not good.
Chetan, when you look back at some of the books that you wrote early on, 5 Points Someone, 3 Mistakes, there was a lot of hope in them. There was always, even though some of the backdrops were rather grim, 3 Mistakes had a terrible backdrop, and it was, I think it was one of the most tragic incidents that happened. Yet there was always hope, either cricket would save you, or education would save you, or love would save you, Now, what will save us? If you had to write 5 Points Someone now, what would your kid
be? I'd like to believe I'm still an optimist. I may be coming across like that. Maybe it's coming. We are in a darker space, so I can't deny that. It is up to the individual. It is the people who are stumbling upon this interview somewhere and they're reading, and something what I'm saying is connecting to them and saying, be honest with yourself. It is all, I'm telling you, it is all coming from the phone. 5-6 hours of, like, literally, firstly, you're wasting time,
Yeah.
which you should be studying or whatever. So that's absolute waste of time. Secondly, it is cognitive brain not being used, emotional brain, which is here, is being used. Not very helpful to function. Both are needed, and you are not able to think. Thirdly, it ruins your motivation because you can't work hard anymore. You are lazy, and you feel deep down, I'm not going to make it. I can't do the work. Then you get angry. Then you get frustrated. Then you want to find some cause, some justice for XYZ, and stop this jihad or whatever. It is nonsense, guys. You know it. It is not going to. Can you put it on your resume that I was trolling Tanishq? You can't now. So why are you putting energy on it? You want to do something for the country? There are 100 causes.
Yeah.
Please fix your career, and there's so many wonderful causes. Keep making a noise on it. I'll admire you. Make it something that you can put on your resume.
Yeah.
चलो सिंपल सी बात है, आप डालो एनिमल राइट्स पे करो, dalits पे करो, किसी भी, but the things people are wasting their times are the most salacious, the most sensational. It's not right. And news is already suffering. The poor guys don't have money. All the money is going to Facebook and Google, so they are like dancing to entertain you.
Yeah, because they're trying to be like entertainment channels. क्या करेंगे?
Yeah, क्या करे? I feel bad for them, but they are crossing new lines every day.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what lines they are crossing. There was fake news which started a couple of years ago, which is like, if I say, Kaveri, I saw alien today. I saw a spaceship come and I saw alien. And you may carry it. Chetan Bhagat says he saw alien. Fine. It's fake news, but it'll get some clicks. Okay. There is a next level of fake news where innocent people are harmed.
Yeah.
To create the story, to make the story sticky, to make the story gripping, find a real innocent victim and torment them so that it's interesting to watch. It
like
could be an actress,
like the Riya.
it could be tabligis, it could be anybody.
Yeah.
It could be, and you need a new gladiatorial feast every day. It's like torturing animals for fun.
Yeah.
It's as bad as that. And that is a completely, like saying aliens are there, or I found gold in a well. Okay, fake news, fine, bad, but nobody got hurt. It is just degrading standards, unethical. But the moment you start saying this, you want a 9 o'clock, every day at 9 o'clock, I need to attack someone's reputation, someone's physically, it's happened so many times that it's become a template.
Right.
So we will find, every month we'll find something. Tabhi maza aata hai. And then only people watch. So that is also to people. I mean, you want entertainment all the time. आपके पास क्या कमी है? Netflix है, Prime है, Tata Sky है, YouTube है, सब जितना करो entertainment. I'm in the entertainment industry. Read my book, fine. News में entertainment मत expect करो यार. Don't say that I'll watch the anchor if he's angry only. I'll watch the anchor if he has flames under the screen. I'll watch him if there is a fight. ये देश के लिए अच्छा नहीं है. So you gotta stop. 20 minutes, watch the news seriously. It's like saying I'll go learn maths if my teacher is shouting and dancing on the table. ऐसे कैसे हो सकता है यार? I like shouting and dancing, but I like dramatic adaptations like movies and TV shows, but not in something real.
Chetan, you yourself have been a victim of a lot of trolling over the years. How have you taken it?
Yeah.
I think
I'm okay.
you have to suffer
I think
quite a bit.
Yeah, it used to bother me earlier, but I'm older now. Like, I mean, and I honestly, I'm telling you, I'm not saying it out of any malice. So I do feel bad for them. I know these people have been around, and meanwhile, they're still trolling me, and I've written another book, and I've done another project, and I don't know. I mean, they could do something. They just go for a jog, man. Just you can always do something positive with your day. And I think if you are in that space that you're trolling, you're in a dark space, man. I mean, nobody accomplished trolls. Think about that.
How is this feeding your creativity, Chetan? I know you're sitting away from India, but still you're pretty involved in
No, I'm going to come in a 2 weeks, 3 weeks, I'm coming back. But my heart is obviously in India. I just happen to be here because of COVID. But Uh, it's feeding very well because I've got a new goal. I've got a new mission. I used to think, abhi kar liya, itne sare books kar liye, ho gaya. What do I do now?
Right.
I want to awaken this youth, and I want to tell as much of the youth as possible to make something of their life. And therefore, sum total sigma of all this youth is the nation.
Yeah.
So I am going to try and awaken them from this phone lulled brain zombie jelly brain thing to say, guys, don't be your own worst enemy.
Yeah.
How is it helping you? By blaming and finding victims and saying, iski wajah se. I mean, seriously, even if you end Bollywood nepotism, are you going to become a star?
Yeah.
It's unfair. I'm telling you, it's unfair. The system is rigged. The system is unfair. I'm telling you right now. That is life. Welcome to life. But winners find a way. Winners create. They don't cry. They don't complain. You create. You create a life for yourself. And that should not have trolling.
Chetan, when do you think this moment happened? Because there was a huge, there was this whole small town explosion. You had the Dhonis and the Kefs and the Yuvrajs of the world in cricket. You had all the Anurags and the Imtiaz Alis coming to Bollywood.
Yes.
There was a moment when the big cities, we gave up on the big cities, but the small towns helped. They gave us some hope.
Yeah.
We thought that there was hunger there. And your Revolution 2020, in a way, taps into that as well. So does Half Girlfriend. So even has the hope been lost even there?
The phone is even more beautiful in small towns because what is happening in Bijnor in the evening.
Yeah.
But if you open Instagram, you can see what Kim Kardashian's been up to.
Right.
And what a Bollywood actress ate for lunch, and which Bollywood actress is holidaying in Maldives in a bikini. I mean, the contrast is insane.
Yeah.
And it's not like you can close and you can start looking for jobs in Bijnor. I'm sorry about any Bijnorians watching this. I might just give it as an example. I'm just saying it's very, very much there. And I'll tell you another thing. There is a satisfaction because there is no, like, if you remember 80s India ke Garib, when you remember that in the time, when Garib log dikhate the TV pe, they were fate hue kapde and in the huts, which are just like ramshackle.
Right.
Today, India's Garib is not that. I mean, you saw the migrant labor walking.
Yeah.
They had trousers and pants and shirts, and they had a phone.
They were one of us.
They were not malnourished, and which is great.
Which
is great, and that is what $2,000 per capita gives you. It takes away that bhukmari it takes away. But what it also does is kind of fills your stomach and makes you safe in ways that even if you don't have aspiration, especially India's social structure is such. चलो मेरी जॉब नहीं है पर भैया की जॉब तो है, भैया के घर रह लेंगे, दीदी के घर रह लेंगे, छोले भटूरे आज भी 50-60 रुपए के मिल जाते हैं. And now when you're talking $2,000, that's $6-7 a day. That's 500-600 rupees a day per person.
Yeah.
But you can eat for 100 rupees a day, a decent clean meal. Kachori khalo, dosa khalo, jahan bhi aap rehte ho. And data is like 10 rupees a day, 300 rupees a month.
Yeah.
So you can literally watch data, consume data, eat tasty food, and think, it's too much hard work, man, to be more successful. ठीक है, अभी फेस्टिवल आ रहा है, कभी होली मना लेंगे, कभी दिवाली मना लेंगे, ये ईद मना लेंगे. India is just like that. It doesn't judge you. Nobody kicks you out. Nobody says, what are you doing in life beyond a point. ठीक है, इनके यहाँ लग जाएगा, उनके यहाँ लग जाएगा, underemployment, unemployment. And that has set in. And that's not good. कि अब तो पेट भर रहा है ना. It's okay, but when you fall sick, you can't get a bed, or the hospitals are very bad. When you have kids, you can't get them a good school. You can't get it. It's horrible in terms of the big infrastructure which a developed country can give.
Right.
But it's complacency. You can say chole bhature kha rahe ho, bas theek hai. We can live in our past glory. Now we are having identity aspirations.
Right.
Let's restore Hindu. But it's too soon. It's too soon for that. Become a developed country. Those aspirations will automatically get taken. If India is the biggest, most rich country in the world, I can guarantee you people will want to know about Indian culture. It's just the way it is. We know so much about American culture. We know about their election. Why?
Absolutely.
Because they're rich.
Because they're rich.
Yeah. Do you know about Ghana's election?
Yeah.
Do you even know where Ghana is? It's in Africa. I have nothing against Ghana. If any Ghanaians are watching this, I'm just giving an example.
But I know you said somewhere that it's better to be rich and humble than poor and proud, which I thought was
But
very apt.
but
Beautiful.
Indians are happy with poor and proud.
Yeah, unfortunately.
Yeah, it
So,
is.
what has happened to our, our system of public intellectuals? I mean, there are people like you who would at least sort of wake us up.
Okay. Public
क्या
intellectuals
हो
are
गया
separate and
उनको?
Chetan Bhagat is separate. You know this. You've
No,
been in Delhi.
for me, you're part of the public intellectuals, but I'm saying that people who would normally wake us up, social scientists, public
So,
intellectuals, have they also gone
so
to
the
sleep?
so nowadays I've been like, because I went against the Tanish cat and all, I'm getting a lot of liberal praise.
So
So I'm gonna burn that.
you're becoming
No,
a
no,
public intellectual, Chetan. Be
no.
careful.
And I tell the liberals the same thing I tell the extreme right. Ext- I am social distancing from all of you because that's the times we are in. And it's just the liberals, they can throw this advice, but they're doing a couple of things wrong. Really, really wrong. Firstly,
What are they doing wrong?
so a couple of them have this way of talking, the way of expression, which is very elitist. It sounds like they're white on the out. It is some colonial hangover happening, which is so annoying that you almost can take a bigoted right wing. You can almost deal with that because that's at least true. It is so fake. It is so fakery so much, number one. So they need to calm the hell down, become a little Chetan Bhagat, like in talking. I'm not saying become me, but you know what I mean? Like just easy, accessible language. They're talking to their own echo chambers, contributing. Oh, he read his website, I read your website. Oh, what an article, what an article. It's like, what are you doing? Preaching to the choir. Okay. They are not trying to reach out to the people who need to be reached out to, and in a language they need to be reached out to, in a mannerism they need to be reached out to, while keeping their intelligent arguments, which are good. Their arguments are good. Second mistake they're doing, which I told you, loving blaming Modi Shah, Modi
Yeah.
Shah, Modi Shah. It's the people, it's the society, because there is a very, very high approval rating. How can you deny that?
Yeah.
How that gives them a lot of credibility, right? So you can't just say, this, that, because sometimes I feel liberals just want to be right. They want, not right wing, they want to be correct. They don't want to fix things. They don't want to fix India. They just want to say, dekha maine kaha tha. Dekha ye kitne bure hain. Third thing, they appeal on morality. Be good. It's not good to discriminate against. Don't be, they're school prefects. I don't want school prefects. People are not going to change, because that section, not all Hindus, that section of Hindus who feel Muslims are the problem, whatever, they don't see themselves as the privileged.
Yeah.
It's not a black people versus white people, American kind of system here. They feel the Muslims were the oppressors. They feel that. So they will never believe you on morality. What they will believe, maybe, even this is my strategy, appeal to their self-interest. You're harming your own kids' jobs by doing revoking harmony. I don't care about getting credit that I said the right thing. I don't care. So liberals shouldn't care of that. I care about fixing India. It doesn't matter. Let them feel, oh yeah, we only fixed it. But you cannot be like, see, you were wrong, I was right. वो नहीं कर सकते. You just have to tell them, boss, don't you care about your kids and their jobs? How is this lack of harmony going to help? Finally, liberals are outnumbered. You know that. And social media, they're like,
For sure.
So you got to focus. You got to show that, right? And if you don't do it, then what will happen?
Yeah. But the minute you talk about politics, you talk about the two extremes, and you have Modi, and then you have Rahul, and then you have the same old argument, Pappu versus Peku versus whatever. So we have to get out of that political mindset as well. No, I mean, we have to make the change ourselves.
We have to make it. And once we change our thinking, and then I think a leader would come out.
Exactly.
Somebody would be there, and he will be very he or she would be very appealing.
Yeah.
People who are, and that's very badly needed.
Yeah.
That opposition. See, people may have said, let's have a change in 2014. And now the liberals say, oh, you said you are change. Now you're horrible. You're changing. You're confused. Arey yaar, we needed a change. Nobody predicted that the Congress will not reform after the drubbing.
Yeah.
After 2 drubbings, there is no difference in the Congress going into the 2014 election versus today.
Absolutely.
अभी इतना ढीठ कोई कैसे हो सकता है? You brought it down to 50 seats, less than 50 seats, less than 10% of the seats. You were ruling for 60 out of 70 years. It's like people saying, holding their shoulder, saying, please change, please change, please
but
change.
you won't.
And they're like, okay. So that how you were telling that you could have, the idea was Congress did badly, let's have a change. Now you come up with a better Congress and let India get the better. You just not. So, I mean, so the liberals, if they really want, accumulate power, build another power center. All the time, like, oh, Modi this and Modi that. Kya hai ye? This is not a very intellectual way of thinking. Don't talk. It's never about an individual. It's always about society.
Chetan, you've been in a way part of Bollywood as well. Your movies your books have been adapted into movies. Some of them, of course, refuse to acknowledge it as well. But
yes.
That's a sore point.
That's a long bang. Let's not get there.
But
today.
For instance, you've written Cake, you've written original scripts. So when you see what's happening right now, Bollywood being demonized as the place of drugs, of Dubai, underworld, you've seen the kind of financial dealings that happen there. It's not as demonic as
I have never ever seen a cleaner payments. I mean, they may not pay on time and all those issues are separate, but they follow the rule book better than anybody else.
Right.
They are more scared because they're high profile.
Yeah.
And if any infraction comes out, I have not seen it. I have not got any, not even like I mentioned, cash payment. I mean, it's all corporates. It's all like, GST and all those things and paperwork, and the top lawyers work there. It's not what people think it is. Maybe in the 80s it was, and 90s it was. But since the new regime of GST and all these electronic payments, PAN card numbers, you have to do it. It's not possible. How will you even do it? How will you even make a movie with like this and get away with it? It's not possible.
Chetan, I want you to put your banker's hat for a minute and tell me, there is this other argument that, we are going through these economic pangs because there's this huge churn that's happening. There's so many new laws and so many new ways of working that have come in. Give it a little more time, things will settle down and we'll have high growth. Do you believe that?
How much time? How much time? And you can't just say one day we'll have growth. That applies anytime. Give it more time than, but I see what the youth is up to.
Yeah.
And like you said, there was a different era where in almost every field, you had people coming from nowhere and rising. Yeah. That was my time when I was in my books came out. Exactly. I mean, you guys, you were in India today then.
Yeah.
And you guys had so many first generation people on the cover.
Absolutely.
I'm sure you remember so many cover stories of people who are just like that. And now if you have to put that, you may not find that many examples, right? So I think, so, I mean, that is not there. So if the Junoon is not there in the youth, and that's because this is the first generation that has data native to them as they were growing up. We are still the VHS generation. We used to borrow video cassettes and we are the Chitrar generation.
Yeah.
Chitrar.
That's my generation. You're the
VHS generation. These people who are the students, they're like, what is Chitrar?
Chitrar.
I'll tell you what Chitrar is. It's a playlist of 6 songs made by the government. And everybody watches that. There's a playlist. Chitrar is a playlist. But it's decided by the government.
And everyone watches at the same time and is so dedicated and devoted to it.
8 o'clock on Wednesday, it's imprinted in my head.
Absolutely.
You have to see it. And the next day was regional. Wednesday was Chitrar. We would watch the regional also. I don't know why I'm watching Assamese songs and Telugu songs, but we were so starved of entertainment.
Yeah.
And this generation is oversupplied with entertainment. So
Overfed.
A, limited, and B, when you go to news, don't expect it.
Yeah.
Just as you won't expect it in a good college to start giving you entertainment. So take news seriously, like you take your studies,
Yeah. I think this is the perfect moment to bring in the young people, Chetan. You've been...
Yes,
Yeah.
videos on, guys.
And please ask your question to Chetan Bhagat.
Yes, ma'am. Good evening, sir. I'm Japneet Kaur from Ecole Global International Girls School, Dehradun. So my question for you is that as an author, have you faced writer's blocks, and how do you overcome them and get back in your writing zone?
Yeah, it happens all the time. It could happen because you haven't thought of a story properly. So that is a different kind of block. Then you have to be honest with yourself that I'm having a block because this story doesn't work and I'm stuck. Or sometimes it could just be like you're just tired of writing and it's just new. You know that you can write, but I sometimes know I'll write today, but the fun won't come, the humor won't come, the flow won't come. So then I take a break and I anyway write 1 year and don't write 1 year. I do all kinds of other things like I'm doing today. So you know, it allows me, like discussions like these are good for me because this is going to, it just helps me stay in touch with my country, provide material for new books. So I know that I need to be more than a writer. If I'm only a writer, then the blocks really will come and affect you.
Thank you,
sir.
Good evening, sir. Good evening, ma'am. I'm Himangi Gobil from grade 11. We ecoliers, being in a girls' boarding school, it's our dream to stay out and work and not to stay at home. So you and your wife being an example for us, like you managing your work from home and your wife working for office, like was it a difficult or easy taking an unconventional path?
Yeah, I mean, it was. Now my wife also doesn't go to office, by the way. So but there was a phase when I was at home and then she was going to office. It's because I'm a guy. That's why it was difficult. Otherwise, it would not be so difficult because there is a little sly remark here, there, you know, especially in the beginning. Now I'm more established. You bear some taunts from your mother-in-law also sometimes. Like, what kind of a, you know, man are you that you're sitting at home? But yeah, I mean, I guess I'm a little besharam that way. That I had to do it. I mean, it's not gonna. I did it. I did work in the bank for a while, and I just couldn't after that. So, you know, so you just had to swallow your pride. If you don't have much ego, then it's okay.
Yeah.
You can get to be at home and listen to 2 insults. It's okay now. Net is fine. Better than going to the bank for 12 hours a day.
Well said.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. May we have Tisha Madan now?
Good evening, sir. Good evening, ma'am.
Yeah.
Hi.
I am Tisha from Ecole Global International Girls School from grade 9. So my question to you is that you have influenced people from all walks of life. So I want to know, where do you get the inspiration from?
From you guys, from things like this. I mean, this is happening on Zoom, but normally I'm on the road a lot. Last year, I did 50 events in different cities. So I was on 100 flights last year. When I go to different towns, you as a writer is supposed to get the feel of the place, but also like discussions like these, you know, I'll know what's going on, what's on your mind. So basically, very much the current India is the inspiration. It's almost like I'm reporting what is happening in a story format.
Thank you, sir.
Ananya, may we have you?
Good afternoon, sir. Good afternoon, ma'am. My name is Ananya Rungta and I'm in grade 11. My question to you, sir, is that most of your stories try to address the many issues prevailing in contemporary India. So what worries you the most about today's generation?
Well, you heard my thing, right? Yes, to kind of know. My worry is that there is a lot of millions of young people who need careers, who need jobs. And for that, we need a very thriving, growing economy. And if we don't have that, there's going to be a lot of individual disappointments amongst young people. That is what worries me. So was it too harsh? Do you felt like I'm this uncle scolding in a park? Do you think I kind of make sense halfway? What do you agree with? What do you not agree with?
So I agreed with everything that you said. Like,
yes, sir.
It's true that it's more important to face the main problems like unemployment rather than defacing Bollywood and talking about Hindu-Muslim riots and stuff.
Okay. What do you think? Why do you think people do that? What is your thing? Why are so many people getting so involved in all that, or like Tanishq or these Bollywood things? What is it? Your thing.
So maybe they don't want to face the true difficult life. They just want to sit back and enjoy.
You don't need public intellectuals, Kaveri. These guys are super insightful. Look at it.
Yeah.
She's absolutely right. They are in denial. Right?
But I think that's because they're girls, I think you may find a different version if they're boys. I'm sorry to say, but there is a gender disparity in intellect these days. I think that...
I'm outnumbered 5-1, so I'm not going to say anything.
No, but I don't know. Do the girls see the boys are a little slower to realize what the reality is, isn't it?
What do you think, Tisha?
So I agree with what you said earlier. And
no, but what
now,
ma'am is saying that the boys are not easily more distracted than girls? Or
yes,
something
sir.
like
So I have a younger brother at home. So I know that at the stage he is understanding stuff, and what I understood at that time, it's kind of different.
Yeah.
So like they learn a little bit more.
Okay.
No,
Japneet, what do you think?
I think that's important, Chetan, because you've always been talking about very enlightened, and your women have always been very enlightened and empowered, and that's been one of the themes in your books, and it does reflect reality. It must have reflected reality even when you wrote those, right? So
yes.
I think that's maybe the world led by women is really now going to be the only solution. We need to have more Jacinda Ardern.
Yeah, and I think maybe the male aggression and maybe the expectations from men are very high, and the disappointments are very high. So some of that may also be playing up, because these are men who are grown up, many of them, right? They're not like grade 9-10 kids who are they are grown up. You see, click on them and they're like engineer and like, I mean, my God, is so educated, what he's saying. So yeah. Japneet, what do you think?
So I think we as girls are told to mature faster in this society, and we are naturally more mature and more rationally and emotionally capable compared to the boys. The boys are simply excused for the mistakes they make, whereas we are taught from a very initial stage.
Wow.
Yeah, that you can't afford to slip, you can't afford to make a mistake.
I do think that girls are also very sincere, like they're very sincere towards their work, and so they will know. But having said that, there are plenty of girls who are addicted to their phones.
That's
and their TikTok and their snaps, and oh my God, it's insane. So I think it's not completely a gender thing, but you guys are definitely very, very sensible. And yeah, guys, we have to work together. I mean, you guys have to cut the nonsense.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Chetan. Thank you, girls. I think it was the most enjoyable discussion. And thank you, Chetan, for listening to them and for listening to us. And always listen to India. I think there'll be some hope, that our story will get told maybe in a better way.
Yes, it will. Yeah. Let's be optimistic. Yeah.
Thanks so much. Thank you, girls. Thank you, Chetan.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, sir. Thank you,
Thank you, sir. Thank you, ma'am.
We hope you loved this session. Thank you for watching. You can catch the schedule for OLF 2020 and watch all the other sessions at www.newindianexpress.com and www.eventexpress.com. If you're more of a social media person, catch these clips live on our Facebook, Twitter and YouTube channels.